Hi, my name is Vamsi Krishna Chava. Today we are discussing about the paper about assessing the effectiveness of sequence diagrams in comprehension of functional requirements. In this paper, we present the results of a family of 5 controlled experiments carried out to investigate whether to use dynamic models represented by the unified modeling language sequence diagrams improves the comprehension of the modeled functional requirements. Family of experiments contains 5 steps. Step 1. The goal of our study is to analyze the use of dynamic models with the purpose of assessing whether they improve the comprehension of the modeled functional requirements for different categories of users in terms of experience and ability. Two are the perspectiveness of families from the researcher's point of view to investigate the support provided by sequence diagrams in the comprehension of functional requirements, and from the project manager's point of view to evaluate the possibility of adapting these models to enhance requirements representations. Two consists of context definition. There are 4 different groups of participants. They were undergraduate students in computer science with some knowledge of UML, master students in computer science, many of them being professionals, PhD students in computer science who have attended various software engineering courses, and software industry professionals who design and develop software systems. Regarding the participants' ability, the students were classified according to average grades attained in their academic degrees, as suggested for Italian students a grade point average less than or equal to 24. Step 3 is about material and experimental tasks. The material was composed of 2 experimental objects, the training material and post-experiment survey questionnaire. The experimental objects were the models of functional requirements of e-commerce system and other typical management information systems. The comprehension questionnaire included multi-choice questions. The questionnaire used in the replications conducted in Spain were translated from Italian into English and then into Spanish. The training materials included a set of slides containing the introduction to both UML diagrams considered in the experiments, and a set of slides describing the procedure to be followed in the experiments. Comprehension tasks related to UML models. The experimental material and the raw data are available for download. At the end of each experiment, the participants were asked to fill the post-experiment survey questionnaire. The questionnaire aimed at gaining sufficient insight to strengthen and explain the results. Step 4. Here they summarize the family of experiments. The rectangles represent the experiments and grouped by the experimental objects used. The figure also shows the execution of order of experiments, the kind of replication, the participants involved and their number, the name associated with each experiment. The second and third experiments were differentiated replications of the original experiment in different settings with different participants. In particular, Italy 2 was an internal replication, while Spain 1 was an external replication. In Italy 2 and Spain 1, same experimental objects as in Italy 1 were employed. The fourth and fifth experiments were differentiated replications whose goal was to repeat the first experiment with different participations and experimental objects. An independent group of experiments conducted. Step 5. In this step, family data analysis and meta-analysis. The results of each individual experiment and the family of experiments were collected and analyzed. We also performed a meta-analysis to aggregate the results. Since the experimental conditions were very similar for each experiment, we performed a meta-analysis to obtain stronger results with regard to contribution of sequence diagrams to comprehend functional requirements. Publishers used a use case and they named it as order processing. The description of the use case is user creates the order for one or more products. The products are delivered after user pays for them. The actor is user. The flow of events is user selects the functionality or processing an order. System shows a form to the user. The user inserts the information about the products related to the order created. When the information about the products is inserted, user submits the order information. System creates the order and notifies user. User pays for the order and system starts the delivery process of the products. System notifies that the payment has been correctly accepted. The post conditions of the events were the order has been paid for and the products are ready to be delivered. To test the null hypothesis, we considered a measure based on the comprehension of models representing functional experiments. The comprehension questionnaire consisted of multiple choice questions. Each question admitted one or more correct answers among a set of 4. The number of possible answers was the same for each question. The purpose of this questionnaire was to rapidly evaluate various comprehension aspects of the model and then the abstracted functional requirements. A sample question of the comprehension questionnaire is shown here. The correct answer is create an order and can be easily derived from both the use case and sequence diagrams. In this formula, the usage of the evaluation criteria was possible since each question in the comprehension questionnaire admitted one or more correct answers. We measured correctness and completeness by using an information retrieval based approach. In particular, we used an aggregation formula of recall and precision, where answer is set of responses and the participants provided for the questions, while correct is a set of correct responses expected for this question. In order to obtain a single measure that shows the comprehension achieved by the participants, we used the harmonic mean of precision and recall, called as F measure, which is allowed us to obtain a balance between correctness and completeness. F measure is equals to 2 times the precision multiplied with recall divided with precision plus recall. To test the null hypothesis, the following independent variable was considered. Family data analysis. The main result of family of experiments indicates that support was found for hypothesis in all the experiments with exception of the original one. This indicates that the use of sequence diagrams significantly improved the comprehension of the models representing functional requirements when participants have an adequate level of experience. Conclusion of this experiment is we have reported the results of a family of 5 experiments conducted to assess whether dynamic models represented in terms of UML sequence diagrams improve stakeholders' comprehension when dealing with Functional requirements. We carried out the experiments focusing on the comprehension without considering any time efficiency evaluation in different locations with participants including students, professionals of different abilities and levels of experience. The context of the original experiment was a group of computer science undergraduate students from University of Basilica. The results showed that the participants judged the use of sequence diagrams to be useful, although the effect of sequence diagrams was not significantly significant. The possible reasons for this may be that the participants were familiar with the domain of the specifications employed, or the participants have no adequate previous experience in modeling the UML diagrams. To verify these findings, we carried out 4 replications of these experiments with professionals and more experienced students. The results of the replications revealed that the sequence diagram significantly improved the comprehension of the modeled functional experiments. A meta-analysis confirmed that this result was stronger evidence. The possible explanation is that more experienced and high ability participants benefit more when information is structured as in the sequence diagram. We plan to investigate this aspect in future. Further investigations could concern empirical studies involving several groups of professionals with different levels of experiments to assess the effect of providing the information to the participants in an incremental way, experiments to analyze the effects of different behavioral diagrams in the comprehension of software models. Another interesting aspect to be investigated will be regarding the comprehension of non-functional requirements, for which several methodologies could be necessary.